What's going on, everyone? This is Baud Fawk Sports. I'm Tarren, and I'm here with my co-host Justin.
What's going on, everyone?
And today we're gonna jump right into the Lakers. Honestly, Justin, I honestly think we should just have a segment every week on how bad are the Lakers this week. Like
Yeah,
I
for
think
real, man.
I know we're supposed to talk about like other things, but the Lakers are just a big talking point. Can't really avoid them, but it's it's just shocking. They're 8-8 now, ninth in the West. Just lost to Milwaukee, but LeBron is coming back. I think for the game tonight against Boston. I think he's finally returning. So
Okay, that's good. I mean, yeah, the loss against the Bucks was brutal. We lost to a team who just I don't even know what to say, man. And we lost to the Hornets as well, and we lost. Oh, sorry, not the Hornets, the Timberwolves, I should say, which is
yeah,
very, very, very hard considering we just talked about how bad the Timberwolves were, and then they destroy the Lakers. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think the LeBron loss has obviously been tough, but at the end of the day, losing to the Timberwolves, I feel like there's no excuse, none at all. Like you're a
yeah,
competent basketball team and you're actually getting blown out by the Timberwolves, then you have zero excuses right in that situation at all. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. I said this in previous episodes, I'm not gonna start to worry until the All-Star break. But this can't keep going on to the All-Star break, right? This can't.
You know what? Like I thought, oh, like THT is coming back, so that's a good like consistent role player because we just saw like against the Bucks, the role players, man, like they're really not helping the cause. Everyone likes to blame Russell Westbrook or if Anthony Davis has a bad game, which Anthony Davis did have a bad game against Milwaukee. Like he didn't shoot very bad, but uh, to let Giannis drop like 47 and 15
Yeah.
when you're supposed to be like, and Anthony Davis is considered a top tier defender. Like he's considered like elite. So you can't let Giannis drop almost 50 on you, bro. Like that's uh that's pretty bad. Like Russ had a decent game. Um but then like if you literally just you look at the role players like Avery Bradley, 5 points, 2 for 6, uh Melo 4 for 10, like not terrible. THT was actually the best player in that game. He dropped like 25, 25 and 12 on good efficiency. Malik Monk 1 for 7.
Oh,
Like Wayne Ellington 1 for 7. Like I just don't know. Sorry. Malik Monk was 1 for 7 from three, 4 for 10 overall, and Wayne Ellington was 1 for 7. Um, Rondo was like just kind of not doing much, and honestly, I think Kent Bazemore might be the biggest joke of a basketball player I've ever seen.
I
I
guess.
like He's been so bad this season. I don't understand it.
Yeah, everything that you just said is completely true. And I think, it's a result of I feel like a ripple effect. And it might even start with LeBron. It's like LeBron goes down. It's like, okay, Disney's play goes down. Maybe Russ doesn't have the best night. Melo only had 10, he had 10 points. Rondo didn't do anything. Malik Monk is shooting 1 for 7 from three. So it's does maybe this show how great LeBron is? Because maybe once LeBron comes back, I feel like everything will be good. But it's without LeBron though, how we playing is bad. I don't get it.
It's
And I feel
just
like it's not a good enough excuse though to be oh well, LeBron's not there. But it's how you going 1 for 7. LeBron's not going to make you shoot better.
it's so rare to see like multiple people on the team have a really good game at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Like Russ will have a good game, but Anthony Davis will play bad, and Melo will play bad, and Malik Monk will play bad, and then or like Melo will have a really good game, and Anthony Davis will play good, but like Russ will play bad. It's just it's like one player does well, and someone else has to like not do well. Like I don't know why we can't just see everyone do well. Like why
Yeah.
is this such a
Exactly.
struggle? And
Yeah.
I know they got to build chemistry. It's still early on, 16 games in for the Lakers. But come on, like some of these role players, like no matter what team you're on, like just hit your shots, kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
just play good defense, hit your shots. Like I'm not really like asking you to drop 30, but just don't go 1 for 7. Like what else do I need to say?
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, like it's just really hard to watch at times because I know we said this too. Like at times the Lakers look really fucking good, like really good. Like no one can beat this team. And then other times they're legit losing to the Timberwolves, who we went on like a 10-minute tangent on why they're just not a good franchise. So it's like, I think the role players need to step up. I feel like, I'm not gonna like say it's all in like AD and Russ because I just don't think it is. But like I feel like there has to be another spark that isn't those two, if LeBron's not gonna be there. I know he's coming back, but like on the days where like LeBron's not there, it's like they can't just rely on these two guys to just carry when you have like good basketball players like Melo, Rondo. We've seen Malik Monk in the past be good. At THT, he had a good game, like you said, he's pretty good.
He's a consistent role player, but like he shouldn't have to drop 25 points to keep us in the game.
Yeah, like I just don't get it. So, I mean, do you think there has to be a coaching change, or do you think Frank Vogel's good?
I don't think Frank Vogel is that great of a coach, but I just don't see like who they would get to replace him that's that much better kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no one really on the table like waiting for them to get to replace him. So I don't know if that's like their best option right now. I'd probably say just leave him because honestly, at the end of the day, like LeBron can coach a team on his own. Russ can coach a team on his own. He's had to for years with coaches like Billy Donovan and Scott Brooks. So both of them suck. So Russ is a good leader and like a good coach. LeBron, obviously, like one of the highest IQs. Rondo, like a really high IQ player. So like I don't think the coaching is really what needs to change because I feel like this team should be able to coach itself. Like they need to build their chemistry like fast. Like they really need to get that going, and they just got to stay healthy as well. Like LeBron's got to come back for them soon. Well, he's coming back tonight. I'm pretty sure. So.
And so, against the Celtics, like another team who has been struggling, but the Celtics are a good team on paper. So like, I know it's not going to be an easy win because of how we're playing, but at the end of the day, like I'm expecting a dub with or without LeBron. Like, they got to win a game, like a decent game because all the other wins that we talked about, I feel like we're against scrubs. So I need to see something good. And I feel like, tonight.
Except for Miami.
Yeah, that was a great win. So yeah, I was gonna make that comparison. Similar to Miami when we were like, yeah, if they could compete out there and look good tonight, then that would be ideal. So I think same goes. Even though Boston, the record doesn't say it, like they're still a good team on paper. So I feel like they if they want to compete and win, like that would be good for them tonight.
And I will say, right, I know the Bucks have also struggled at the beginning of the season, but we only lost by 7.
Yeah.
And that's with Anthony Davis having an off night.
Yeah.
And Malik Monk and Wayne Ellington and Kent Bazemore all playing bad. So and Melo. So like we lost by 7 to the reigning NBA champions with Anthony Davis, the current biggest star, playing like garbage. All the role players playing like garbage, and LeBron is missing. So I don't think that loss is that like big of a deal because you could say like fair enough. Like they are the reigning champions. Like, they are a good squad. Giannis is Giannis, 47 points. So, but yeah, I'd like to see something out of this game against the Celtics.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure LeBron's going to be on restricted minutes because he's just coming back from the injury.
Yeah.
So, still going to need to see Russ and AD, play well, and these role players they gotta find their form and stay in that form because they're just too inconsistent.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And just on the Celtics note right there, like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, 2 very talented players, they could torch us because we have seen how bad the defense has been in the past. So it's like someone like Avery Bradley against his old team, is he going to step up and put the clamps in, or are we just going to let Brown or Tatum have their way from the field? So there's a lot of things to take in consideration. And I think maybe this team has like that step up mentality because we saw it against the Heat. The Heat are on a roll and the Lakers are kind of struggling with them. Boom, they brought it to them. So maybe it'll be kind of like that. Like, okay, that's just Celtics, it's our game to lose kind of thing. So I hope they could step up. I hope everyone has like pretty decent game, pretty good game. So I'm happy to see LeBron back. It's been way too long.
Yeah. Yeah, like I hope they can do something like what they did against the Heat. That was honestly like out of all the games that I've watched this season, that was so amazing to watch. Like for me, like so far, obviously, game of the season. That was really great, but you do have to think like, yes, the Miami Heat are really good, but Jimmy Butler went down in the first quarter, and it still went to OT. And obviously, yeah, the Lakers are missing LeBron and at that time THT as well, but we got to see them start like beating these big teams, because I consider the Lakers, well, they should be a part of those big teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So you should be competing with these guys. You shouldn't only be beating like the Houstons of the world, you know. So
Yeah.
I think they gotta beat the Celtics. They got an easy run of games. They got the Pistons, and then like the Knicks is a hard match, but they've been not playing well recently. The Pacers, and then the Kings, and then the Pistons again.
So it's it's a great run of form. So, and here's the thing, like, you know, they could, if they lose tonight, like pretty much that's all I care about. They could lose tonight, but then win all those games out. I will not care because they're just terrible opponents. But it's how we played tonight, because Disney could go 4 for 20 tonight, but then against the Pistons, he could have like 40 points, but like that won't mean anything because it's the Pistons. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think the whole team should really feel motivated tonight and get a result. Do you know if it's in LA or is it in Boston? Do you know?
I think it's at home.
Yeah, like, you know, if the home crowd's gonna be there.
No, it's at Boston.
Oh, it's at Boston. Hey, that's another historic stadium right there, you know. So let's go into Boston's home and let's get a victory. So I think that's what the message should be in the locker room tonight.
Yeah, I like it's the biggest rivalry in NBA history, you know. So I expect the Lakers to get up for this game, but
yeah,
I'm always nervous for Jaylen Brown, like 40-point night or something, and then even with Jason Tatum struggling at the beginning of the season, like you can never count him out, because you never know when Jason Tatum is just going to turn it on and start looking like prime Kobe out there. Like you don't even know. So, because he has his moments where he genuinely looks like, oh my gosh, like Jason Tatum is starting to look like one of the best players in the league. We haven't really seen it this season.
Yeah.
But that's just on the efficiency thing, and I think he'll get into his rhythm sooner rather than later. And I think eventually Jason Tatum will start showing us like his old form again.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of hope it doesn't happen against the Lakers tonight. But we'll see, man. I don't know.
And yeah, that's the thing too. Like, you know, I'm not going to give the Celtics too much credit, but I feel like, you know, if there would be a team for them to bounce back against, just based on everything recently, I feel like it is the Lakers. So like you mentioned, this could be an insane game for both of them. Tatum and Brown could combine for like 60 odd, 70 odd points. Who knows? But it's on the Lakers to stop that and to actually play competent and to, you know, get the win.
Yeah, for sure. Because Celtics are 7-8. They're 9th in the East, and we're 8-8 and 9th in the West. So, you know, two top teams struggling so far at the beginning of the season. Obviously, the Lakers is more focused on because they got bigger names, and they're expected to be like top of the West, or at least close. The Celtics are like around that mid-tier spot, maybe 5th. Would you say maybe?
Yeah, I'd say solid, like 5th, 6th place kind of thing, depending on the other teams. But yeah, you know, I think a talking point that I want to bring up quickly is, you know, LeBron is coming back. He is facing off against Jason Tatum. We know what happened a few years ago in that game 7 when he dunked on LeBron, in my opinion, is the best dunk of all time. So it'll be interesting to see if those two come up against each other again tonight.
Yeah, I'm not going to say best dunk of all time, but it is a really it is a really nice dunk. Like that's got to be like probably that probably has to be Jason Tatum's favorite moment of his entire career.
Yeah.
The dunk on LeBron, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think unless the Celtics win a championship with Tatum eventually, I don't think anything's going to top that moment for him.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to say that dunk is better than Russ's dunk on Thon Maker, though. So I love that dunk.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Russ dunk on Thon Maker, go look that up on YouTube. It's so awesome to watch. I love it.
Yeah. I feel like that really ended Thon Maker's career in his basketball life.
Oh man, you remember when people were talking about Thon Maker and they thought he was like like he lied about his age or something. He
Oh,
was like
yeah.
genuinely like 8 years older than he said or something.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro.
Is
Oh,
he still playing?
that's a great question. I haven't
I'll
heard of
find out right
Thon
now.
Maker from in so long. I just remember he was some like tall giant, bro, and then next thing you know, he's just gone.
Yeah, because like I haven't really heard anything about him, but
Yeah, so I
uh,
have it up here, and he's on the.
wasn't he
He
on the?
plays
Well,
for
he was on Detroit before, but
yeah, but he actually right now plays in the Israeli Basketball Premier League for Hapoel Jerusalem. So
oh man,
he is in the sacred land of the Lord. So we'll give him that. But yeah, like Thon Maker, I'm just gonna show it everyone to the camera. What are we thinking about Thon Maker? Absolute demon. So yeah, the Thon Maker hype train is really ended by Russ.
yeah, that's yeah, because everyone was like, oh, this guy's gonna be like an up and coming like center, like he looks really great, and now he's just not even in the league anymore. So
He's in Jerusalem. Oh wow.
oh
But
man,
yeah, I think before we touch on a team that's doing good, I think we got to stick with the theme, bro. What's going on with the Toronto Raptors? They've been struggling as well.
before we get into the Toronto Raptors, I want to show everyone uh my old small kids Chris Bosh jersey from back in the day when I went to the game. Banger.
Such a hard
Love
jersey.
I love Chris Bosh.
Yeah.
Favorite Raptor of all time. But yeah, the Raptors, man, like what are they, 7-8?
7-9 now, actually.
7
They
and
sit
9.
at 12th in the East.
Yeah, it's not looking good, man. Like they're missing some creativity. They have a lot of like good scores. I think they have like 4 or 5 players averaging over like 16 points per game.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
But like defensively they don't look the best, and they just need someone to like create, they have a lot of scores and no, like they're missing Kyle Lowry basically.
Yeah, no, you took the words out of my mouth. If only we had a point guard who could do all that stuff and take charges and be a leader. If only we had that. But yeah, no. Man, I hate to say it because I'm a big fan of Siakam, but I actually think him coming back kind of ruined the momentum we had because since he's been back, he has had some good games. I'm gonna give him that. I'm not saying he's been playing bad, but like we were looking like not like a rejuvenated franchise because we did just win a championship 2 years ago, but like based on like compared to last season, I should say we really looked like a rejuvenated team. And I'm not gonna say that that's because he wasn't there, but like we had like an identity where we were like a fun team to watch, yada yada yada. And now I think it's a 6-game losing streak, 5-game losing streak, something like that, and we're sitting at 7-9. So I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I think the main problem, like I said, is the creativity. But I also think that, like, this might be like, I don't want to give up on Siakam because of all people, I was like really high on him before. I didn't want to give up on him. But it's like, if we actually, like, I don't even know if we won a game with them, and I'm being genuine. I think the one game that we've won since he came back, he actually sat out. So,
Really?
yeah. So I think that might say it all.
Well, like I don't know about all the games. I just know the recent one against Utah, he was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly his stat line, but I'm pretty sure he shot terrible from the field, and he had like 4 points. So
Yeah, he had 4 points, three rebounds, and 5 assists in 31 minutes. If you didn't check your eyes, you would think you're watching Malik Monk, but no, it was actually all-star Pascal Siakam out there. So
that's see, from the jump, I always thought like Siakam was a little overrated by Raptors fans. Like a lot of his like his point generation came from just on the transition. He's great in transition, I'll give him that. He just doesn't have a lot in his offensive game in the half court. Like
yeah,
we've seen all the memes, but like besides like spinning in the post, like what does that really, like what does he have in his locker to like get open?
yeah, exactly. And it's kind of hard because I don't want to turn on the guy, but like you mentioned, you got Van Vliet, you got Barnes, OG, and Trent, who I think, yeah, like I said, are all averaging over 16 points a game. So it's like that's a really good core. I think that's the only team in the NBA that's doing that. So it's like if that team was looking fun, they're winning games. Even the defense in some of those games were pretty good, specifically against Boston. They look and putting on the clamps all day. So it's like Siakam, it's like maybe we should have got rid of him, but then again, we did sign him to a max. So like, can you really just get rid of your max franchise player like that? I don't know,
Well, no
but
one's gonna want to trade for him now because
yeah,
of that
exactly.
contract and his level of play. Like, and I think he's suffering the most from Kyle Lowry being gone because, like I said, like he doesn't have a lot in his locker to create for himself.
Yeah,
So he needs that creator to set him up for those buckets. And you guys don't really like have that right now. So I don't know. But even without a creator, like there's no excuse to be playing that bad. So he's
yeah,
definitely got to step it up, man.
yeah, and like guys like Trent and Van Vliet specifically against Utah. Trent had 31, Van Vliet had 24. Like those are great numbers. Like they've been doing their parts. Barnes, I feel like has still been playing pretty good. He's now back at the top of the Rookie of the Year leader. But like since Siakam's come, I feel like Barnes's production has gone down a bit, which is like natural. But it's like why if we're gonna have someone that's gonna make Barnes do less and make us lose, it's like do I really want that right now? And I don't know, but we'll see. Like I'm not gonna give up on him completely, like other Raptors fans have, but I just don't want to like imagine if we go on like a 10-game losing streak. I'm not saying we will, but like wouldn't that be kind of like coincidence? I think not. We're 1-10 in the last 11, and the one game we won, he wasn't playing. It's like, what
But
would
then
that
again,
mean?
like you said, like you can't just not really like play him. He's
Exactly. Yeah.
healthy. He's making like 30 something mil a year. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of weird if you didn't play him. And now that OG is injured for a while, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Uh, yeah,
breaking
I'm
news,
pretty
Chad.
sure
I did
OG.
not know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
just got injured for they don't have a timetable for his return. I don't exactly know what his injury was. Oh, here it's a hip
Oh,
injury. Out a while.
breaking news, chat. I just found out on this broadcast that OG Anunoby is injured for a while. I don't know why I didn't know that. Wow, that actually hurts, man, because I love OG. And he was having
I
such a
like
good
OG
start to
too,
the
man.
season, man. Okay, so if he's not playing, Siakam needs to step up, bro. Like he needs to
Yeah.
step up. I'm calling him out right now. I love Spicy P, but I need to get the spice back. It's been pretty mild, as one of our friends have said. But like recently, it's just been not good. So I think maybe this could be good for him then. If one less person's not there, maybe he'll shine more. You never know.
Yeah, it's not good for you guys because
Yeah,
OG he's averaging 20 points,
I know.
5.5 rebounds, three assists, 1.5 steals, and three threes a game. And we already know he's an elite defender, so he's
Yeah.
giving you good offensive production and good defense. You're missing that now. And Siakam isn't really a great defender. And if he's going to continue to struggle on offense, basically you're replacing OG Anunoby with like Malik Monk. So
With 4 points a game. Oh God.
no, but the thing is with Malik Monk is like he at least like he can be streaky and he can hit like 7 threes in a game or something, and like he could literally be one of the best players on the court. Like we haven't seen some of that from Siakam in years.
Yeah, no, you're spinning. I think like last year I gave everyone on the Raptors a pass because we were in Tampa, I'll
Yeah,
give them that pass. But this year I feel like everyone on the team, and then we'll include Barnes because he's new, like everyone has that extra motivation to do better for like the city. So I feel like Siakam needs to have that same drive. I'm not saying he doesn't, but he needs to show it, like he needs to show that's like, yo, we haven't had fans in like look at how long. We're back at home and let's make a run. I'm not saying we're gonna win the championship, but let's at least play some exciting basketball and entertaining basketball.
yeah. Like you shouldn't be out of the playoffs, or you shouldn't be in 12th. That's what you said that they're at, right?
Yeah, they're 7-9 right now in 12th place in the East. So that's
Like
ridiculous.
even yeah, like that's not good enough. Like I know the squad is better than that. Like they have good players,
Yeah.
but this OG loss is big for sure. That's gonna hurt the record a bit. So
And I love OG. He's such a great, like for Raptors fans. If you're not a Raptors fan, you probably don't care about OG. And then there's you who actually likes him. But like as a Raptors fan, I take so much pride in watching that guy play basketball. And he's such a great person off the court too. So it's like, yeah, that really sucks as he was having such a great start to the season.
yeah, no, I actually gained a love for OG because draft night, you and I were on the phone for that draft night, and OKC had just lost Kevin Durant, and so I think we had the 20th pick or something, and OG was on the table, and he was supposed to go for like 5 picks, and I was like, oh my gosh, we just lost Kevin Durant. We need a small forward. OG Anunoby is that guy. Like, please take him. Just no, we didn't take him.
And then we got him the very next pick, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because I think
after.
Yeah, we had the 20th pick and you had the 21st pick. And I can't remember who we took.
I think you guys took was it Terrence Ferguson? Is that who it was?
Yes, it was Terrence Ferguson.
Terrence Ferguson.
And like, I don't even know where he is anymore. I don't even know if he's still in the league. Like, he didn't do anything for us.
Yeah.
And just looking at what OG has become, like, it just makes me so depressed that we didn't take him. But yeah. I like him. Like, he's a really good player.
Yeah.
Like, he just, against Portland, he dropped 29.6 rebounds and 3 steals.
Like that's a monster stat line. Like, he did his job.
You can't really ask for much more from him. So he's a quality player. I've always thought so. He was my pick at the beginning of the year to win most improved, but I think now he's out for a few weeks at minimum. So the rest of the team is going to have to step up. Gary Trent Jr. is going to have to, find some of his top tier form. Scotty Barnes is like a consistent player now. Like, I don't know he just came into the league and now he's like, I don't know. He's like a top player in the East. Like, he's genuinely good. So.
Yeah, one thing about Trent that I will say, similar to OG with his offense, you could tell Trent has really worked on his defense in the offseason. I think the last time I checked, at least, he was actually 3rd in Defensive Player of the Year ranks right now. And, he gets the steals, he gets in there. He likes ISO defense now. So, and he has good deflections too. So I'm really impressed with Trent because, like, I love Gary Trent Jr. on offense. He went to Duke and everything. So the fact his defensive game has stepped up too is good. So
he's averaging 2.5 steals right now.
Yeah, like that's pretty crazy, all things considered. So I think, every team has a rough patch. Maybe ours came a bit earlier because, like, we are playing the Kings tonight on the road, but nothing's a guaranteed win on the road. So I'm not, well, it is the Kings. It's the Kings. That is a great point. But, I think maybe when we get back home, like, I'm not saying, okay, let's just give up on this game. But I think when we get back into form, it'll start to come. And I think from there, that's when we really should, like, find ourselves. Because if OG's not going to be there, then that's like a big loss. So I think other players definitely need to step up. And I think Siakam needs to lead the team because we paid him to do that. So you don't give a supermax contract to someone who's going to be like the second option or a role player. So I need him to, like, lead us back to, like, I would say the playoffs, but, like, we're only 16 games in. So you got what I'm saying though.
Yeah. Like you said, like, nothing is a guaranteed win. The Kings are, like, probably the worst run franchise in the entire league, like, of all time.
Yeah. No.
But you never know what could happen because, Harrison Barnes, like, out of nowhere, he could just pull up and drop 30. Like, he's had some games this season where, like, he looks like one of the best small forwards in the league. So it's pretty crazy. You can't really count him out. He's averaging 20. Darren Fox, he started off the season kind of slow, but we know what Darren Fox can do. Like, I know he's one of both of our, like, favorite players. Like, we both really like him. He's really good, but he's just been struggling, like, with efficiency this season. But you never know what he can give you. Like, there could be one game where he'll drop 35 on you, so you can't like count him out. They have some good role players. Buddy Hield is still there. I don't know how. Like, I swear this guy has wanted out of Sacramento for, like, the past, like, 3 years, and he's still there. Like,
I think I really like Buddy, but I think the greatest story is when they offered him, like, the contract that he's on right now. It was proposed that I think they initially proposed a $94 million deal or something. It was something like that. And he felt insane, or it was a $90 million deal, and he felt insanely insulted. And then they agreed to a $94 million deal. Like, I
remember that.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like a fake news story, but, like, this dude was insulted that they put 90 million on the table for him. Like, that's a great offer. And this guy went from, I'm so insulted, to, let me stay here for 4 million. Like, I just cannot believe that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious. I don't understand, because he's actually, like, a quality role player, and everyone wants a guy who can shoot threes like Buddy Hield. So the fact that he's still there, like, it's kind of insane to me. But I guess he is making a lot of money, and he is kind of seen around the league as like not a great locker room guy.
Yeah.
But his offensive production and his efficiency is like there's a reason that the Lakers were really interested. He definitely would have fit their system, but the Lakers were focused more on like, we got to get a guy who can win us games, not a role player. So I understand that, but yeah, like the Kings, like they're 6-9, but I just think the Raptors should beat them. They have a better team, but you can't really say it's for sure.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting tonight a big response. I'm thinking the clamps have to be on. I think we should hold them to under 90 points and let's just score. Like, let's get some good offense going. I'm not saying we got to beat them by 30, but like, I'd like to see 100 at least, maybe win by like, 15, 20 points kind of thing. So if we don't, then it's like, okay, I'm not going to be too mad, all things considered, because it's not like we have Kawhi or Lowry anymore. But I think, a bounce back is needed. And I think it starts with the Kings tonight. So I'm rocking with that. But yeah.
Yeah. Do they have like a hard run of games coming up?
The Raptors? I know we do play the team that I think we should talk about next. They are facing off against the Golden State Warriors, who, took on the Brooklyn Nets a few nights ago. And I know we talked about both of their best players, Durant and Curry, just a few episodes ago. So the Golden State Warriors went into Brooklyn. They took a victory against Kevin Durant and the Nets. And I think the highlight was Steph Chef. Look at Curry, man, getting MVP chance from the Nets crowd. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like, fair enough. He's definitely in the race. Like, he's top two, however you want to look at it. Obviously, that game did hurt Kevin Durant's stock a little bit. Pretty sure he only dropped like 18.
Yeah, he had 19 points that game.
Yeah, so that was like his worst game this season for sure. I was definitely looking forward to the matchup more, but it was just kind of like Warriors are just better. But like, one game is just one game. I still think KD is the best player in the league.
Yeah.
But the Warriors, like 13-2, they actually just lost to Charlotte.
Yeah.
So Charlotte beat the Warriors and I think the Lakers like just before that. So Charlotte are like a weird team because I don't know, they'll go and lose to like some crappy team and then they'll go and beat Golden State, so they're kind of just all over the place. It's really funny.
But yeah, I mean, Curry had 37 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists. I think his MVP season from 2016, that will obviously never be topped. But I mean, he's playing at an elite level right now. And I think, as a big fan of Curry, I hate the Warriors, but like, Curry is just that guy. I'm just really happy to see him play at his best. And, I think injury, if he doesn't get injured, I personally think he'll win MVP if it keeps up like this. Obviously, we already talked about that. But yeah, I think this Warriors team is like, actually legit. Maybe some people had like some overreactions, but after 14 games, they're 12-2. So, I mean, who knows, man? I'm not saying they're gonna win it all, but like, I think they are playing very good.
13-2, yeah.
Oh, my fault. Sorry, 13-2. Yeah, so they are playing very good basketball.
Yeah, no, man, they're elite. It's kind of surprising, to be honest. Like, I did think like they were going to be better than last year, because Curry is really good. The role players are getting better, and Draymond Green is looking like similar to his former self. So I did think they were going to be better than last year, but I mean, I don't think anyone would have saw 13-2.
Yeah, without Wiseman and Clay as well. So it's not like the team's fully healthy. I know we talked about Wiseman before and how like the team actually stepped up without him. But to enter off the season without those two players in specific, and you're still 13-2 after 15 games, like that's really impressive. And they just blew out the Cavs the other day. I'm pretty sure they went like on like a 36-8 run in the fourth against the Cavs, and that's how they closed out the game. So that's pretty crazy as well. So I'm not gonna call this like an overreaction and say that they're like my title favorites, but do you think that there's any chance that the Warriors win the championship this year?
With Clay coming back, yeah, like it's definitely a possibility. The fact that they're already the best team in the league without Clay and Wiseman is like, I think it definitely points to them being like real contenders.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like they're not my pick to win it still. I still would have to say Lakers or Nets at the end of the day. And I think in a 7-game series, like I just don't know if they could beat the Bucks playing at their best either.
That's valid. Yeah.
Like I just like Draymond Green is a good defender, but who's holding Giannis, bro?
Bro, you know who's gonna hold you honest? The one man who I want shooting the ball. The Martians have pointed out. But yeah, no, I think I definitely think that I wouldn't call it overperforming because just we know how like elite the Warriors could be at times. And now this is a different team than we've seen in the past. You know, Durant's not coming out, Clay's not there yet. But you know, I think this team, you know, they're fun to watch. They look like they're playing inspired. They narrowly missed out on the playoffs last year. So I feel like they're playing with that chip on their shoulder too. And, you know, the mitten, Gary Payton Jr., he's been pretty good so far. Curry's been a lead, you know, Jordan Poole, who is probably going to win MIP based on everything now because OG's out. So that's great. So, yeah, like, you know, I'm not going to overreact and say that they're going to win it all. But, like, damn, bro, the Warriors could actually go back to the finals. Like, maybe Draymond was right when he said the dynasty's not done. Like, they could actually win one more.
Yeah, well, they're definitely like in the top like 5 contenders. Like you can't really argue that they're not.
Yeah.
Because even with like me thinking like at the end of the day, like Lakers and Nets will figure it out, and Bucks, to still be like in my opinion like 4th biggest contender, that's still kind of insane, and that's still like without seeing Clay. Like Clay could come back and I could change my mind like depending on how good he is, right? So if Clay comes back and he's like back to his I don't know what's his best season, maybe 2019 just before he got injured, or 2018. If he's back to like prime Clay, they're definitely like a top 2 team in the league.
Yeah.
Because they won 73 games without KD, so if the role players can still play good and Clay comes back, that's a scary team.
Yeah. So with a potential championship, what do you think that would do for Steph Curry's legacy?
Here's the thing. If he wins the championship and doesn't get finals MVP, I think it does nothing for his overall like greatness, like considered in like the top wherever he's definitely top 20 players of all time. And he's, in my opinion, 2nd best point guard of all time. But I think with another chip, like he still doesn't overtake Magic. And even if he does get a Finals MVP, he doesn't overtake Magic. But he does like move up probably in the top players of all time ranking wherever you have him. Yeah. But I just think like even if he gets a ring, he has to get Finals MVP once in his career. You know?
Yeah. I think the hard issue for me with ranking Curry, and I've said this multiple times too, is that, you know, with Magic Johnson, you know, he's probably in my personal top 5 ever. Don't agree with that. But to say that Curry is better than Magic Johnson is way easier than saying, okay, Curry's better, is a top 5 player ever, because he could win the championship, go down as the greatest point guard of all time. But does that now mean that by default he now has to be slotted in at number 5 on my list or number 4? So yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I think he definitely has to win Finals MVP, and that would give him 4 championships and 1 Finals MVP. I think Magic had 5? Yeah, he had 5. I don't know how many.
5 rings, and I think he had 4 Finals MVPs. I think Kareem won it the first year.
And I know James Worthy won it one of the years as well.
Oh, so maybe only 3 then.
So he might have 3. So like that's still impressive, obviously. So
yeah,
let's just call it 5 and 3. So yeah, compared to 4 and 1, like I just think that alone might end any argument. But wow, man, like, you know, I know we say it as memes, but like Curry is just so inspirational. Like watching Steph Curry play is just like, he just, you know, he's a jaw dropper. And I think that, you know, in the past, it was like, yeah, no, I hate Steph Curry. Everyone hated him because of how good they were. But now that like they had their time, and I'm not saying they're not going to win ever again, but now in this moment in time, I think the whole league just appreciates Steph Curry for the great player that he really is.
Yeah, no, like I've definitely gained a new appreciation for him because I didn't like him back in the day, especially because KD went to the Warriors,
Yeah.
and the Warriors beat us when we were up 3-1. So definitely hated the Warriors and Steph Curry before, but now that KD has left and I've seen them struggle, honestly, it made me like them a lot more. But yeah, no, like he's a great player. He's an all-time great. I just think he could never break into the top 10 without a Finals MVP.
Yeah, okay, that's completely valid. I'm kind of on the same boat, but now, like, if he hypothetically wins the fourth championship, does win a Finals MVP, but he wins regular season MVP this year, would that change your mind at all? Because that would be 3 MVPs and 4 chips. Like that's also really good.
If he wins the chip and the MVP, but not the Finals MVP,
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't think he goes really anywhere. Like in the point guard ranking, like to overtake Magic,
Yeah,
it's tough, because
yeah,
he's pretty much already like consensus number 2,
yeah,
number 3 at worst, if you want to say like Oscar or something. But I just for him to move into like the top 10 because he's definitely top 20. I don't know exactly where I'd rank him in the top 20, but I know he's definitely like close. But for him to get into the top 10, like you have to think like he's competing with people like Larry Bird, Tim Duncan,
Kobe as
Hakeem,
well, Hakeem,
Kobe, like
Shaq.
all these guys. All these guys are multiple Finals MVPs, multiple MVPs. Like these are guys like that to compete with. Like he would already have to have at least one Finals MVP to even be in the conversation.
Yeah,
So I think even if he gets one, like I don't even know if he breaks into the top 10 still. So I just think because the fact that KD went there to his team and then won back-to-back Finals MVPs, like I'd probably say KD is still above Stephen Curry in my mind. I know Curry has the unanimous MVP, so that's a big thing for him, like first unanimous MVP in history. Although LeBron should have had one. Uh, I just think 2 MVPs is great, but 0 Finals MVPs is just kind of like it's just kind of sad.
yeah, and a lot of people said that maybe should have got it one of the times, but like honestly, I think every time was kind of justified. Maybe not so much the Iguodala one, but like I just don't think I'm comfortable with them giving it to Iguodala and not Curry that time. And then like you mentioned, Durant was just unreal in those 2 series respectively.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there is like any shot, even though Curry was playing like pretty good. There's no shot that the Durant wasn't getting that. So I definitely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean the third year that KD won it, like I did think Steph Curry had a really good shout. Like he actually played really well in that finals, but it was uh it was like a game 3 where they went to Cleveland and KD just like played out of his mind. And I think that literally that one game like won him the finals MVP.
Yeah, and that shot, well, both
Yeah.
shots in game 3 in Cleveland,
Yeah.
twice, whichever I'm talking about, but yeah, just amazing. It's one of the like best plays I've ever seen. Just to catch that board in crunch time, go up the court and just hit that three. Like, wow, bro,
Yeah.
that's like ice in your veins.
So yeah, like I don't know. I don't even know. Even if like let's say even Curry wins finals MVP, like the ring, finals MVP, and regular season MVP, does he break into your top 10?
See, and that's yeah, like I was thinking about that too. And it just so unfortunate that for him, I mean, it's unfortunate that Magic Johnson is number 5 on my list because or number 4, whoever I'm thinking on the day. But like let's say he hypothetically does that and then next season does it again. So that would mean he'd have 5 rings, 4 MVPs, and that would be 2 finals MVPs. Like that would be impressive. I would see a
Yeah.
more legit argument there. So let's say hypothetically, he eventually did pass Magic. It just my only thing about Curry is that would by default he have to be number 5 all time or 4 all time on my
Well, if he
list?
passes Magic, then he has to.
And that's the thing. Like, am I ready to put him ahead of like Shaq? You know, you mentioned I'm assuming like Bill Russell is less than that on your list too.
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem, Wilt. Like, I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. But maybe in a few years, like after he's done playing, I'll look back. But I don't know. It's a tough one because Magic is ahead of all those guys that I just named. So it's like, is Curry on my list? I don't know. So I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, because like we'd obviously have to do our top 10 to really like be sure, but uh, I think maybe yeah, if he did it twice, like you said, like once, I don't think he breaks in top 10, but if he does it twice, two Finals MVPs, um,
It would be 5 rings in
two
total.
yeah, yeah, two Finals MVPs, five rings, and four MVPs, right?
Yeah.
If he did that, then I think he might become 10th.
Yeah, and
But
see that's a valid show. With
that's
me,
yeah,
it's like just by like, values and stuff, he would have to be by default number 5 on my list or 4. So minimum top 5. And I just don't know if I could put him ahead of like Shaq and Wilt and Bill Russell and even Hakeem, Tim Duncan, even. So it would be a tough one for sure. But like I do really like Steph Curry now. So I'm definitely open to that conversation.
yeah. I just don't. I think even if he got two Finals MVPs, five rings, and sorry, four rings. No, sorry, yeah, five rings and four MVPs. Like I still don't think that tops Magic for me. I because Magic has three Finals MVPs, five rings, and how many MVPs does he have?
That's a good question. I mean, it's definitely like, a decent amount because, um, all I know is that Larry Bird has 3 because he
Yeah,
did win 3 in a row. I'm assuming Magic won like at least 2. So he probably has the same amount of MVPs as Curry. Now, granted, Curry's is, unanimous, which is like pretty historic, but
Magic has three
yes, he has
MVPs.
3 as well. So
So like yeah, he'd have it like he'd have another MVP, but he'd have one less Finals MVP, same amount of rings. So I just don't know like if I'd fully give it to him over Magic still.
yeah,
But he'd definitely be top 10 if he did that. Like he'd probably overtake like Hakeem in my mind.
yeah.
Um, but he wouldn't like overtake Tim Duncan. Definitely wouldn't overtake Kobe, Wilt and Bill Russell. I don't know if he'd overtake them at that point.
And like Shaq as well. You got to consider Shaq.
Yeah,
So
I don't think there's anything like I love Shaq, so I don't know if there's
yeah,
anything Steph Curry could do in the rest of his career for him to overtake Shaq in my mind because I have Shaq in my top five.
yeah.
Um, so like for Steph Curry to crack top five, I don't know, that's tough,
Yeah,
man.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, if he like becomes the undisputed first best point guard of all time, then it's like, damn, now I gotta just completely change my list. So it's like, yeah, I just don't think I think, we did this one time with LeBron and we asked him what can he do to become the GOAT. I think for me to legit, and it's asking a lot, but again, we have to in this case because it's Magic Johnson. I think Steph Curry would, whether it's 3 in a row or whatever, but he has to win 3 more championships,
Yeah,
at least one MVP to tie Magic. And like you said, probably 2 or 3 finals MVPs. And again, it's a big
yeah,
ask. But at the end of the day, if you're dealing, it's not like you're dealing with scrub. It's Magic Johnson, bro.
yeah.
Best point guard of all time. So you have to have these expectations.
I
Now,
agree.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, if you can't do that, then he's overrated. No, like he's still top 20, like we said,
Mhm.
undisputed second best point guard of all
Yeah,
time.
probably top 15.
Yeah, best shooter of all time too,
Yeah,
unless you want Paul Pierce. But yeah, so
if it's the
I
wing, then yeah.
yeah. So I don't know how long he's got left. He is kind of injury prone, I will say. But if he could pull that off, whether it's a legit three-peat or it's just 3 rings in the next X amount of years with the ramifications, then I'd have the conversation, like a legit conversation.
Yeah, but yeah, like he would have to pass Magic in championships overall for him
Yeah.
to be considered, in my opinion. And at least tie him in MVPs.
Yeah, no, I
So and
completely
then
agree.
at least like yeah, like at least two Finals MVPs. Like that would be one less than Magic, but um, yeah, like it's a tough ask to pass Magic. Like he's pretty solidified as the best point guard of all time.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think he's probably the only point guard in the top 10.
Yeah, no, he is. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So yeah, hard to pass. because a lot of point guards don't usually make it that high. So, but yeah, I don't. It'll be tough for him to do all of that. I don't think it will happen, especially because he's getting up there in age now.
Yeah.
I know like he'll probably last for a while because he's really good at shooting, but I just don't know if he'll be at the level to still win like MVPs and Finals MVPs and rings for the next like 3 years. So, and that's also again like that depends also on Clay and the role players and how they perform. So, yeah, I don't know. Curry could break into the top 10 though, but I don't know if there's anything he could do to break into the top 5.
Yeah. And again, big ask. But if he gets 3 more with 2 MVPs and at least 1 more Finals MVP, I'll have that conversation. But because it's like the top 5 ever, I have to do a big ask. So not even trying to put some extra ramifications. It just that has to be done. So
yeah. I think that is a great transition into the NBA top 75.
Oh,
We're just talking about the top 10 and stuff. So the NBA, if you guys didn't know, the NBA named their top 75 players of all time a few weeks ago, I think. And so we wanted to talk about who we thought got snubbed from the team. There were a lot of like old players in there, like from like back in the day, which I just don't think is really representative of like who the best like 75 players were. Because we'll obviously get into the snubs, but the game has changed so much. It's definitely developed. And so like, you could say, oh, John Havlicek is a really great player, and he won a bunch of rings. But at the end of the day, like if you throw John Havlicek in his prime on the court and you put him up against like James Harden or KD, he's gonna get cooked. Like it's over for him. So like. Yeah, I just think like there was a few players we'll definitely get into to talk about, but yeah. So who do you think in your mind are the biggest snubs that didn't make it?
yeah. So I think one name that comes to mind, and it's more recent one, and there's with the grain of salt, is definitely Dwight Howard. And that grain of salt is that Damian Lillard made it. I don't even hate Dame. I'm perfectly fine with Damian Lillard. But I just don't know what more Dwight Howard would have had to do in his career to get in. And I don't know how Damian Lillard got in with like the same career. They've been in the league similar amount of times. Dwight Howard's a 3-time defense player of the year. He won it 3 times in a row. Yeah. He's just been known to be like in his prime.
He also has a ring now. So
yeah, has a ring. Yeah, I was even going to mention that too. On Orlando, he got them to the finals. He beat LeBron and the Cavs that year. I know they didn't win, but that also speaks for something. Because you think about prime Dwight, you got to consider that too. And now has a ring. So it's like 1 ring, 3 defensive player of the years. Just was amazing in his prime. Won the dunk contest. And no, that's not like an official thing, but still. So it's like was Superman. I don't know what more he could have done to get in over Damian Lillard, who has a rookie of the year to his name and a grown out beard since he's come into the league. So again, I love Damian Lillard. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to shade him, but I don't know what he did to get into the all NBA team that Dwight Howard didn't do.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I definitely think Dwight Howard is up there with like some of the biggest snubs.
Yeah.
I don't honestly, I didn't even know Dame made it, to be honest. I didn't even look at the full team.
Yeah.
But wow, that is shocking because like you said, like just a rookie of the year. So and he's a perennial all-star as well, but one conference finals appearance is just not enough for me to say you're top 75 player of all time when, like you said, there's people like Dwight Howard who didn't make it. I'd probably say my biggest snub again, is right there. Chris Bosh didn't make the top 75 team.
I don't know how that happened. Yeah.
Like he has 3 rings. He's also a perennial all-star. So if you literally just like compare him to Damian Lillard, right? Like Damian Lillard hasn't even made a finals, and Chris Bosh has multiple rings.
Yeah.
So
and
I
just
don't
had a
know.
better career too. Like I feel
Yeah,
like his career without the achievements, like just based on his career, it was better. Like he was a beast on the Raptors, was amazing on the Heat. You know, that
yeah,
rebound is the best rebound of all time. So
yeah.
it's like, again, what more could he have done to get in if Damian Lillard is in? And again, I don't want this to be like you guys think this is a 20-minute segment of us just trashing Damian Lillard. But at the end of the day, as much as I love him, he did not belong on that team, like at all.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you're gonna be in the team, you at least got to have like one major like award. Like I don't count Rookie of the Year. You got to have like at least a ring or like an MVP or a Finals MVP or something major. You know what I mean? Like the fact that Chris Bosh has 2 rings, Dwight Howard has a ring, and multiple Defensive Player of the Years. Like
Yeah, 3 in a row.
God,
Yeah,
man.
like
So
that's impressive.
yeah, like I don't know, like I know people like to clown on Dwight Howard a lot, and Chris Bosh became like the third guy. He became like the scapegoat in Miami. Basically, what happened to Kevin Love,
Yeah.
but he was elite for the Raptors, and he was
Exactly.
and he was elite for Miami. So to take that step back and contribute to the level that he did, won 2 rings, made probably one of the big like the best teams of all time with Dwayne Wade and LeBron.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like he had to make it into the top 75 team.
Yeah. And
So
and
that's a
it's not
shocker.
even like, yeah, like I don't want anyone to think there's like a bias, but like go back to 2011 and 2012 when the Heat won those 2 rings. If you think they could have done that without Chris Bosh, you're just lying to yourself. He was
Yeah.
elite, bro. In the both finals, he was very good. And on the Raptors, he was amazing. We got rid of him and we just didn't do anything for like 7 years. So it's like I just don't understand how he didn't make it. Another name I need to bring up because he's been in the fucking limelight these days, but Kyrie Irving,
Mm.
he didn't make it. And again, I'm not going to use the same Damian Lillard arguments or even use John Havlicek. Great, pioneer of the game. But like you're telling me Irving doesn't get in over John. Like Irving has arguably the best handles of all time. Like that should mean something in this case. I'm not even gonna just use like a rings argument, but like he's just been an amazing player. And the fact that again, so what did Dame Lillard do? Like I've seen both of them play my whole life. Like what did Dame do to get in over Kyrie? So I just
Yeah.
don't get that either.
Yeah. For me, like I don't know if I'd have Kyrie in there. Definitely, like I'd have him over Dame, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't have Dame in there either, right? So, um, there's a couple people on this list. Like I don't like who's Paul Arzin.
I think it was on the Warriors actually, if I'm not mistaken, back in like the day.
Yeah, he was on the Warriors and Philly. But I just like I'm like no disrespect. I just like these are guys that I don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
Like
And
he
I think
10-time
the
All Star.
NBA they did the wrong approach because I remember for make a comparison when the NFL did this and it was
Hmm.
called the greatest 100 players of all time in the NFL, but like Shannon Sharp didn't make it. It's like
Yeah,
how like for a comparison. So it's like it should have just been like an all NBA team where like you had to by default include the legends like from the 50s and 60s because don't get me wrong, Paul was probably a baller back in 1952. So it's like he was probably racking in like 25 points a game. Now with that being said, would Paul do that today? No, Paul probably would not make the NBA team. But however, if it's an all decades team, like I'm not gonna fault you for like saying, yeah, the guys from the 60s have to get a shout over certain guys, because that's true. But at the end of the day, it was labeled as the 75 greatest players of all time. And that list without, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, I just don't know how valid it is.
yeah. And again, nothing against those classics, the classic teams and like those guys who won multiple rings, like those Celtics teams like Bob Cousy and stuff. But like I said, like if you're gonna say like the top 75 best players of all time, like if you throw Bob Cousy and give him a 1v1 versus Kyrie, like it's game over, dog. Like so,
Like it's really
um,
bad.
but yeah, like they're just like there's a lot of those guys that some of them I don't even know. A lot of us weren't alive to watch them or anything, so uh, I can't really speak on if they should be there or not. But I do think Dwight Howard and Chris Bosh should have made it. I also think another person that definitely should have made it is Tony Parker. Like
Oh yeah.
How did he not make the top 75? 5 rings? Like,
That's crazy, bro. I didn't even realize that too either. How did he not make the team? Like how, bro? I'm like again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Damian Lillard over Tony Parker. Like there's no way, man. Like
that's
there's no,
shocking.
I can't agree with that at all. And I'm sure there's a lot of other more modern players in there that we haven't named who we would put, who to get rid of and put in Tony Parker. But it's like, how did Tony Parker not make the list? Like what more could he have done? 5 rings. LeBron doesn't even have 5 rings. You know,
Four. Sorry,
sorry,
my bad,
4 rings.
my bad.
He has 4 rings, bro. Who has foot like Durant doesn't have 4 rings, Curry doesn't. Like we're just naming off some guys. Shaq doesn't. It's like,
Yeah,
what more could you have done?
but not only does he have 4 rings, but he has a Finals MVP. Like he
Oh
won a
yeah,
Finals MVP as well. Like Damian Lillard can't even reach the finals, but this guy's a Finals MVP and 4 rings, and he didn't make it. Even some of like the old legends that I don't even know, like no matter what they did, like is it really more impressive than Tony Parker winning uh four rings of Finals MVP in one of the hardest periods of the NBA? Like we can both agree, like the 2000s was like probably some of the best basketball that ever happened in the NBA.
yeah,
Like it was just such a great time. And so he won 3 rings in the 2000s and one in the 2010s.
yeah. Being like a
Finals
perennial
MVP.
part in all 4 of them. Like he was
Yeah,
important in every single one of them.
6-time All Star, 3-time NBA All Second Team. Like I just don't understand. I don't understand how he didn't make it, man. That's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. But hey, on a brighter note, at least Russell Westbrook did not get snubbed because that would have been like really bad.
Oh, that would have cheesed me. But I think the fact that he has an MVP, like I think the NBA will always recognize like people who have an MVP.
Yeah.
So I don't think Derrick Rose made it though,
Yeah, I was gonna
which
say
is
I
like
don't think he did
fair
either.
enough.
Yeah,
Like I don't
Derek
know,
Rose,
he
you
probably should
know,
have.
yeah. But like, I'll ask you this. This might be a debate, but like Derek Rose or Damian Lillard, bro.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'd have him over Damian Lillard, but I wouldn't have I wouldn't have Derrick Rose over any of the other guys that we said like should have been in. So
Yeah, exactly.
like that's fine. And then there's T Mac.
Yeah,
Like
I was gonna
I
bring
know he
him up.
didn't win a ring or an MVP, but he was a big time player, you know. So he's up there. Pau Gasol.
Yeah, I feel like you can't mention real quick just on T Mac. You can't mention the 2000s without talking about Tracy McGrady.
Yeah,
And I feel like, might be biased because I have his Raptors jersey, but at the end of the day, we're on Orlando, amazing. On Houston, he
yeah,
was still pretty good. So it's like, I feel like if you have a conversation with any basketball old head and the topic is the 2000s, Trace McGrady is getting brought up within the first 2 minutes, like
yeah.
100%. So,
His career was so unfortunate, you know.
yeah,
It's all those
the-
injuries.
yeah. And it's like, talent, one of the most talented players we've ever seen play,
Facts.
and I don't got to speak for it. If you want to know, do your Google searches because he was amazing. Go on YouTube right now and type in best Trace McGrady highlights right now. So, like, the fact that he wasn't in there was like really disappointing to me just because I love Tracy McGrady.
Yeah. But even if you didn't want to say treat like Pau Gasol too, man. Like
Yeah.
Pau Gasol was some of the biggest players on those Laker teams with Kobe, and he was just like he was in the league for so long. He was like a constant like top tier player. He was always good. Even in his later years, like on the Spurs and stuff, like he was a solid player for so long. So I think like all of those guys, man, like it's just kind of crazy. Klay Thompson,
Yeah, Clay.
like multiple rings, multiple all star. Like what has Dame done that Klay Thompson
Yeah.
hasn't? You
And
know?
like just on the note of Clay Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, the league's been around for 75 years and there's only been 2 shooters, maybe 3, but 2 tops better than Clay Thompson. Like that's crazy to me. The fact that the third or fourth best shooter of all time is not in the all 75 team about a sport where you have to shoot the ball into a net. The fact that the fourth or third best shooter is not there, that does not rub me right either. Like I don't get that. And I
Yeah,
love Clay. But it's like the only 3 people that you could say is better is Ray Allen, Steph Curry, and you might say Reggie Miller is a better shooter.
maybe
Like
Larry
you
Bird.
might. Yeah. So it's very, very, very disappointing that Clay Thompson's not there. And he even
Yeah,
made a post about it too. I don't know if you saw that.
yeah, he was very upset.
Yeah.
He mentioned it a couple times actually. He was very upset that he didn't make it. Um, I did think that was a little like like over the top. Like you're mad, but like at the end of the day, like what does it do for you if you're in there? Like it's still like crazy that he didn't make it over some of the people that were in there, but he just seemed a little too heated. So, but a lot of people were backing him, and I think like yeah, like he should have been in there along with the other guys that we said, like Chris Bosh, Dwight Howard, Bernard King. I know he's before our time, but he was on some of those top tier Knicks teams.
Yeah.
And then yeah, like Klay Thompson, Kyrie, Tracy McGrady, Pau Gasol, and Tony Parker. Like all of those guys, it's criminal that they went on. A lot of people, you and I both agree on. We both feel the same on this guy, but a lot of people were saying Vince Carter was the biggest snub. And the score, I don't know if you guys know the score. It's an app that gives you a bunch of like info. They did like a poll. So and they were like voting on all the biggest snubs, and Vince Carter actually won the poll. You know, he beat out Tony Parker and Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol, T-Mac, so Chris Bosh, and I don't know. For me, that's criminal, man. Like, I'm not trying to hate on Vince Carter. Like, I don't really like him, to be honest, but I think mostly just because I think he's overrated. But Vince Carter to beat out people like Tony Parker and Chris Bosh, I that's criminal. That's criminal.
Yeah. And I think, you know, the main argument that I'm going to have, and I do this with like Tom Brady because he played 20 years. And I always say to you, bro, you could split up his career and you have 2 legit Hall of Fame careers generally. But with Vince Carter, and you just have to do it. I don't want to be that guy, but let's split up his career in half for a second. The first 10 years, you know, very good player in the league. He was on the Raptors for a bit. Not going to shade on that, even though I hate that he left us. I'm not talking about that. But half of his career, bro, I'm pretty sure he has the most losses in NBA history. I could be wrong about that. But
I think you're right.
That happened in the second half. What did he do? He left us. The only thing I know Vince Carter to do after the Raptors is he scored a buzzer beater against us with the Nets. And then when playing for the Mavericks, he did score a buzzer beater as well. So like those 2 plays, respectfully. And then he came back to us and we did a nice tribute. So I like, what has he done in the 20 years, not from the first 10? So the second half of his career, what has he done that, you know, made him get in? So I just don't get why fans are saying that. I feel like that's a really, really like casual fans take to say that he was snubbed.
Yeah. Like, I feel like there are players in every sport, and it happens a lot in basketball, where their highlight reel will make them as a player, and they'll be overrated because like he's literally called like the human highlight reel, you know. So
yeah,
he has a lot of great highlights. You know, one of the best dunk contest wins in history. Like it was very exciting to watch, but he never won anything. He never won an MVP. He never won a ring. Like he was just kind of in the league like a long time. Like okay, like that's cool. Like so was like Jared Dudley, but like, like you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
just because you dunk a lot and like it's cool. Like I don't think I think the NBA was correct to leave him out. So I don't know why everyone was so like frustrated with him missing out when there's people like we said, like Chris Bosh, who, in my opinion, in Chris Bosh's prime, he was better than Vince Carter in his prime, but he also
110%.
won rings.
Yeah.
So like I just don't understand. I just don't understand that.
Yeah. And the argument too that I want to make for everyone who, you know, doesn't support the Raptors that are watching this, most of us do not like Vince Carter because he left us. We might like what he did for us before. But at the end of the day, that guy left us after signing a max deal and we were terrible. So Raptors fans will not even vouch for Vince Carter to win. I once told a Raptors fan, yeah, like, you know, did you like Vince Carter? And they generally got so upset at me. Remember Miss Neckers from Doc? Yeah, she pressed me. She's like, no, I hate that guy so much. It's like they don't like Vince Carter. Like we don't claim him anymore. You know, when he retired, sure, you know, he was, I guess, a legend. I'm not going to even say air brackets, but he was a, you know, 20-year player. No one's ever done that. He played in 4 different decades. So good on him. I'm not going to trash on you when you're 40. But at the end of the day, like the fans who made him don't even like him. So I don't get why the NBA community was so, you know, so mad about that when like the main people just don't even claim him.
And I also think at the end of the day, like, if you're going to say like, one player who didn't win an MVP or a ring is going to be in there, I'm taking Tracy McGrady over Vince Carter any day,
Oh, any day.
anytime. I'm taking injured Tracy McGrady over Vince Carter, bro. Like Tracy McGrady, in my opinion, is clear. So,
Oh, I agree.
Like, people want to argue like Vince Carter. Like, first of all, he didn't win anything, so Chris Bosh and Dwight Howard and those guys should be over him. But even if you're not going to care about like winning trophies, like, okay, then Tracy McGrady is better. Like, the fact that people are so outraged about Vince Carter not making it and not T-Mac, I just don't understand where all this love comes from.
Yeah, I personally don't either. But, maybe that's just because, like, I'm a Raptors fan and I hate him. But I just did not realize that, like, of everyone who's been playing in the league, I didn't realize that he would have got, like, the love. I just don't get it personally.
Yeah. I just, like, what I'm gonna name like the other players that we've talked about, and you tell me what you think like he's done to actually beat them. Chris Bosh.
Like, absolutely nothing.
Dwight Howard.
Like, nothing.
Klay Thompson.
No, like nothing at all.
Kyrie.
No.
T-Mac.
Like, and see, that's the only like real debate, but like real ones, no, T-Mac is so clear. Like, I'm not getting into that one. So no, exactly. He didn't do anything.
Pau Gasol.
Like, no, Pau Gasol's a 2-time champ.
Yeah, and Tony Parker.
No, Tony Parker played at an elite level for multiple decades and has 4 rings. Like, it's all like there's no debate. The only debate is T-Mac, but like I said, real ballers know that T-Mac is just better.
Yeah, so, if you know ball, like T-Mac is just better than Vince
so
Carter.
Much better. Not just better, so much better.
Yeah. So I think that's criminal. Like, I think the NBA was perfectly right to leave him out, and I think the fans that are mad that he was not in, like, really just don't understand how good some of these other players were. Like, to say he deserved it over someone like Chris Bosh or Tony Parker or Dwight Howard, like, oh my God, you clearly just don't know what you're talking about at that point. All those people who voted in that poll that we were talking about on the score, that literally, like, I don't remember what the final was. I think it was him versus Tony Parker. And I think like Vince Carter won by a good amount. Like,
yeah, no, he did. Yeah.
Like, he genuinely like has a lot of love from these fans. And it's just very confusing to me because like, he just played a long time. Like, that's it.
Yeah. And again, I ain't trying to hate on a 40-year-old baller, but at the end of the day, he has the most losses. And like, that has to mean something. And again, I know there's 4 other guys that share the court with you, but like, it's not like his longevity was amazing, because we've seen in other sports, like Tom Brady, even Buffon in soccer, like their longevity is amazing because they continuously won awards at the highest level. There was never like, yo, we need, like, he's not good. Bro, post Raptors and a Nets buzzer beater, what was Vince Carter like? What did he do that made him over Tony Parker and Dwight Howard and what's his face, and Chris Bosh? Like, what did he do? And the answer is nothing. He didn't do anything. So,
yeah. This isn't trying to be like a Vince Carter hate show, but I'm more hating on the people who said he should be in there.
Yeah.
Less hating on Vince Carter, more hating on the people who really just don't know ball. But there's a huge list of snubs that I would have put in that top 75 team, which I did think wasn't done to its best, but they got most of the people that I thought should be in there.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, they missed some that we talked about, but I thought it was a decent list. Like, they did have a lot of old people I didn't really know, but some people were saying like, oh, why is Anthony Davis there? Like, I think Anthony Davis should be there.
Yeah.
Giannis is there. Russ is there. Like, the players who play today, like James Harden, like, those guys should be there. Like, they're
Kawhi as well. I'm pretty sure Kawhi made it too. So
they're elites. Like, again, like, Kyrie is kind of a snub. He's definitely a shout. Klay Thompson as well, especially over Damian Lillard. But
yeah, it's gonna be so annoying in like 20 years time if my son says to me, yeah, so I'm looking at the all 75 team, who is Damian Lillard? And I go, he was like the 5th best, shot, like point guard of my era. We got so many guys better. Oh, well, why isn't Kyrie on the list? Couldn't tell you, son. You know,
Yeah, I just don't know what to tell you.
Like they completely messed it up.
Yeah, because I think like Damian Lillard has had points throughout his career where he's been like probably second best point guard at like probably like maybe like last season or the season before. Like he's had moments like years where he's been like top tier. But if you just look at like let's say the 2010s like era and you look at overall, if I say like, oh, who were the best like 5 point guards in the 2010s, you're gonna say Steph Curry, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyone with a brain on their head is also gonna say Chris Paul. They're also gonna say Russell Westbrook. So those three are right there, and then you have Kyrie, who actually won a ring. So I think at best in the 2010s era, I think at best he's fifth.
Bro, like this might be a hot take, hot take for a reason, but that's what the show's all about. But like in the 2010s era, like might be biased, but give me Kyle Lowry over Damian Lillard. Lowry,
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I wasn't even thinking about Lowry, but yeah he has a ring. Huge part of those teams. Yeah, like I know Damian Lillard has put up more points, and he hasn't really had a player like Kawhi.
Yeah.
So that's an argument there, but it's definitely between them. Like I think they're fighting for the fifth spot.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's crazy to say Kyle Lowry, and I'd probably agree with you.
Yeah, and I think the best way I could put it, the stats will tell you Damian Lillard, but the eyes will tell you Kyle Lowry. If you just watch Kyle Lowry play and compare it to Damian Lillard, you'll be like, yeah, you know what? This dude has to be in. Plus, he has a ring. So yeah. Like I think that's what I would say.
I like as a shooter, like Damian Lillard is obviously he's better, but as a shooter, like Kyle Lowry is a really good shooter as well. He can shoot from that limitless range just as well. Like he can hit threes efficiently. He can drive in, and he's clear of Damian Lillard at defending. Like he's an elite defender.
And his passing too. Yeah,
his passing is better. He's a better leader. So I'd probably say Kyle Lowry fifth as well. So Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Kyrie, and Kyle Lowry. I'd all have over Damian Lillard in this era. So the fact that he made it over people, Kyle Lowry didn't make it, did he?
I don't think he did. So there you go. Like that's
another snub then.
Yeah.
I think he's a shout for sure. Like I don't know if I'd have him over Kyrie, but you could argue it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day,
for like a snub.
Kyle Lowry isn't a locker room cancer the same way. He's one of the best leaders on his day, is one of the best leaders in the league. So it's like, yeah, I love Kyle Lowry, obviously. So I definitely think he's over Dame Lillard for sure.
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy to me some of the people that would make it over some of the guys that we said, but Damian Lillard being in there is genuinely shocking to me because I didn't even know. I had no clue he was there.
Yeah, no, he made it. He's like, the benchmark. Like that's the common argument now. And it's kind of sad because if you want to have actual discussions, that's like the one thing anyone could use and they'll probably win. So it's like, yeah, it sucks that they really messed that up. And exactly, we saw it in football when they did the all-time NFL team. We talked about that. A lot of people made it in, and I was like, hey man, like in basketball terms, that's who that is, and that's who this is. Oh, how did they not make it in? So it's like, yeah.
Like the current players who made it in, like Giannis, Carmelo Anthony, sure. I do think though, like looking at some of the players who didn't make it in, like I'd put Chris Bosh over Melo in the list.
I think again, that's a valid show. Both from the same draft class. Obviously, one's still playing today, but at the end of the day, in their time period, Chris Bosh had a better career. I'm not saying he would still be playing today, but at the end of the day, he stopped playing because he had blood clots. So his career got cut short. I'm not saying he'd be some elite player now, but who knows? We'll never know. So yeah, I think Bosh over Melo is like really valid.
Yeah, and I also think Tony Parker over Melo. It is like the fact that they actually won like a ring. Like I'd probably say Melo over Vince Carter. And I'd say Melo over Kyrie and Clay. But I'd probably say like Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Tony Parker, I'd probably put them all ahead of Melo, but I guess he's like a decent shout. Stephen Curry is obviously a lock for top 75.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, like we discussed, like he's been at an elite level for years now. Now he has a ring. You know, like I think it's fair that he's in there, but again, not over some of the other guys that we said. So KD is obviously a lock. James Harden, you know, he just has an MVP, but he's been the best shooting guard in the league for years.
Yeah.
He's elite. So I'd probably say he has to be in there. LeBron, obviously. Kawhi, obviously. Damian Lillard, no. Chris Paul, yeah. Twinway, yeah. Russ, yeah. So there's not a lot of like current players that I thought are in there that shouldn't be. But yeah, like Damian Lillard and Melo like are definitely standouts for some of the other guys who didn't make it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think. Do you got anything else you wanna mention?
No, I think well, the one thing I will mention is that, you know, in about 5 years, 10 years, we'll look back on the 2021 draft and go, wow, the Raptors really drafted the best player of all time, because Scottie Barnes will go down as the best to ever do it. But yeah, on all serious note though, we I think we covered it all today. I think that was good. All
right, yeah, sounds good. Just to everyone at home, please share the video if you enjoyed it. Like if you enjoyed it. It helps us out a lot. Thank you for making it this far, and hope to see you guys next time.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who gave that continued support on our Instagram. You know, that was blowing up this week. So thank you to all. So yeah, if you're not already following our Instagram or our TikTok, the links will be in the description, everyone.
All right, see you guys.
Yeah, see you, everyone.